We got a little more than 10 minutes. We'll see if anybody gets the notification. Tune in to Tactical Muffin Talk, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8, 7 Central. I don't know what the subject for tonight's show will be, or if he's got a secret guest he hasn't told me. I know he's got 2 or 3 people that he's just trying to work out timetables with, but he should have some more folks on before long. Feeling the prepper burnout, the buying and accumulating and stuff. Like, I'm feeling pretty burned out on doing that part of it. I'm good with the physical challenges and with the spring weather in between the rainy days anyways. I am optimistic on that front. Would like to make it out to the range and get some real live fire trigger time in. Just because that's a good use of your kit and stuff too. That develop that proprioception, that awareness of the space. You know how close, just that manual of arms, if you will. Kind of the proprioception. Know where stuff is on your person. You know, and there's only so much of that you can do in your domicile. And I guess if you got carpet or whatever, you can roll around and throw mags and do stuff if you want. But I can't in my house. It's all hard floors. And I have other people there. And I try to not do too much administrative gun handling. Try to minimize that in the house. That's the nice thing about going to the range. You have a safe direction to like stick it so that if you do move quicker than, you know, a safe direction to point it, so if you do move faster than you have mastered, if you have an oopsie or something, there's a safe direction for it to go. Demo Man Don, listening while driving. Well, we appreciate you, sir. Drive safely. Watch out for idiots. They're all over the place. They're meeting you in 3,000-pound vehicles. I think you're our one and only viewer, Don. I mean, Demo Man. Today's not the day to have the demolition rally. We don't want you to pile them up. I did spread the good word of the Slishman pressure wrap to another customer today, who's kind of a turned on dude, at least as far as the competitive shooting sports and TCCC type stuff. You know, he's taken several pistol and rifle courses from what I've discussed with him in the past. I made him aware of the Slishman today because he was saying that he's got cats, and he said he carries the snake staff ETQ. He was saying he'd heard about, you know, if they're not wide enough that it'll cause nerve damage. And he was like, so what, you know, if it saves somebody's life? I said, oh yeah, 100%. Like, you're not worried. I wouldn't be worried about that. I said, or you could carry this. And I pulled my Slishman out and showed it to him, and even stuck it on and corked off my blood flow to one of my arms and let him see and feel the difference. He's like, that's cool. And so I whipped out one of Jay's cards and gave it to him. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go back to the office and check that out. So Jay, if you have another order from Arkansas, you're welcome. But actually, I've given out several Jay's cards in the past week or so, but I'm down to 2 or 3 again, so I need to hit him up in an email sometime. See if I can't just meet him on the postage for like a envelope of business cards or something. Mississippi Hippie. New name for me. If you've been here before, thanks for being here again. If you're a first timer, we appreciate you. Welcome. Hope everyone's having a beautiful day. Likewise. I don't know where everyone else is today, but here the sun's shining, the sky is blue, just peppered with a few paint strokes of light clouds, but mostly blue. It's been nice today. I think it's like 82, which is not horrible. It's not summer where it's 95 plus every day yet, but it is pretty humid. It rained really hard for a couple hours the other day, and it still hadn't smoked all that off yet. Still the Menace. Thank you. We appreciate the like. Tune into Tactical Muffin Top if you search him in YouTube or Rumble, in that place. Tactical Muffin Top. Good dude. Or if you go to my channel, you'll find where I've interacted with him and other stuff. Tagged him. Tactical Muffin Top. Does a live show Tuesdays and Thursdays. Normally about the 8-7 Central Time period. Tuesdays are usually earlier. Tuesdays are usually at 7. Thursdays are usually about 8 Central Time Zone. So that would be an hour later for you East Coast people, or 2 hours earlier for you West Coast people, depending on where you're at. Sassy7, what's up? And I haven't really seen anything in the news new to report that's worthwhile. And there's been some kind of talk about whether or not they're going to replace Hegseth or not, and then you hear the retort to that is, no, that's just news. They're making that up. That's not true. I don't know if it's true or not at this point. I don't know how big of a difference that it would make. We're pulling more troops out of Syria, and I think that's a good thing. We need to draw down. I suppose it's fine that we have the world's largest navy so we can protect the shipping lanes, but beyond that, I don't know that we need a standing global presence around the world. I think that the time of American imperialism needs to end, and we need to go back to we can continue to project force with ICBMs and a relatively large standing military, but I don't know that we need to be posted up all over the world. We don't need military bases in every European country and all over the South Pacific and, Australia. I think we've got a larger Marine base in Australia than Australia has. Of course, that's all for the threat of China, but that's been there since the end of World War II. But before the end of World War II, basically anywhere that we've ever been involved in a conflict since World War II, we've just continued to stay there. Yeah, we could take care of our elders and veterans. We could. I mean, if we're going to piss money away every year, taxpayer revenue, or worse, money that we don't have that they just print, make it up out of thin air, we need to do something for the younger millennials coming into mature adulthood. I wouldn't say middle age yet, but that in between college and middle age. And I'm not saying that we need to do something in the way of a handout, but we need to really figure out how we're going to square up Social Security, because that big beast can't keep rolling, and I don't want to pay into it for another 30 or 40 years for it to all collapse by the time that I would be old enough to draw from it. Like, I understand no take-backsies on whatever I've already contributed, but if it's starting to look like a government Ponzi scheme, it's an inverted triangle, then let's let's figure out an end date for that and either come up with something new that's totally separate, or let's give tax credits to invest privately somewhere else or something. I don't know. You know. Anywho, go check out Tactical Muffin Top. Pat Riot uploaded his Minuteman uh, turnout video, Gear Up. What did he actually title it? He titled it something different. I don't remember. It was good. Rebel Spirit did his, and it had a bunch of production value to it. He played up like a whole scenario where he was turning up. He's got the gamer lore figured out. Pat's not far behind him. Pat's pretty good at making up stories, scenarios. I just kind of scrambled and threw my shit on. But gun industry's kind of slow still. If you hadn't passed through your local gun shop, you should, because there's deals to be had, and there's lots of manufacturer rebates right now from Walther and Springfield and Smith & Wesson. They all have one form or fashion of rebate, either extra mags or a safe, or extra mags and an optic. CZ's got some new models that are finally hitting the floor. They've got that new Shadow 2 compact optic ready decocker that's all black. They've had the Shadow 2 compact out for a year or so with kind of those gray blue anodized aluminum grips with the thumb safety, but now they've got one with more robust combat sights and black grips with the decocker, which I think makes more sense for a carry gun. I don't know why you would want a double action, single action with a really thin thumb safety. Not a lot of people want to carry SAO. So it's good that they finally fixed that. More holsters. More holster support. That's what we need. That being said, belts and kydex and a bunch of that stuff, I don't know that that stuff's made domestically. So if you're lacking on any of that, you might get that squared away. You know, the holster may be made here, but I bet the raw material is not. So if there's any holster or anything like that that you're lacking that ultimately comes from a material manufacturer outside of the US, you might go ahead and just do business with whoever you want now and not fret about it, you know, in 4, 6, 8 months. I actually went ahead and got another pair of tennis shoes, and those came in today. Just because I was going to need them in the next couple months anyways, might as well get them and not pay the bullshit markup from the tariffs. But yeah. Oh, thank you, Grit and Grace. I wasn't reading the comments, but I see where it says you muted that guy. I know he would have done something bad to warrant that. Well, folks, it is about that time, so I'm going to cut it off right here. If you're still watching and you hadn't hit the like button, please go ahead and hit that like button. Share and sub to yours truly, Lawfully Armed and Tactical Muffin Top. And go ahead and check out Demo Man Don and Grit and Grace, the Farming Florist. Y'all have a wonderful afternoon. Hopefully we see you tonight on Tactical Muffin Top, 7 Central. And that's a wrap.